Among the seas I've explored underwater, the Caribbean is one of my favorites. So it was a great pleasure to spend my vacation there. Then I accepted an urgent appeal from a buddy of mine named Pete Rogers to join him on an assignment in another part of the Caribbean. An assignment that turned these warm, sunlit waters into a death trap. Pete had left word for me upon my arrival that he'd be skin diving in the bay. The diver's flag indicated that he was underwater. See any air bubbles, but I figured that he was swimming some distance away from where he had his boat anchored. I had agreed to meet Pete, and there was no reason why I couldn't meet him underwater. I didn't see any sign of Pete. Then, some yards ahead of me, I saw him. There were no bubbles. Then I realized why. He was using a rebreather diving unit. A rebreather doesn't produce bubbles. But something was wrong with him. I had an idea what it might be. If the carbon dioxide level builds up on a rebreather, it can be deadly. I wondered why Pete had been willing to risk his life to test this experimental device. I didn't know that both our lives would soon depend on its operation.
Oh, you really had me worried. Why? I didn't see any bubbles. I thought you were a goner.
You didn't notice I had a rebreather on?
Not at first. Pete, great to see you again, boy.
Good to see you too, Mike.
That's been a long time. Well, what's the assignment, huh?
Follow me ashore and I'll tell you about it then.
20 minutes later, when I saw Pete's improvised laboratory, I realized what an ambitious project he was working on.
Another try at a workable rebreather.
Don't sound so doubtful. This isn't anything like the kind we experimented with in the Navy.
Rebreather theory is a great one, but I've yet to see one that's perfected.
This one's close to it. I've logged 8 hours testing it without anything serious going wrong.
Yeah? Well, I'll stick to my old-fashioned rig. The open circuit variety.
Can't, Mike. At least not on this project.
Why not?
The fellow I'm working for made it very clear that if I called you in, you were to be told nothing till he arrived.
What?
Oh, just be patient now. He'll be here in a couple of days.
Who is he? Do I know him?
No. No, I wanted you down here in advance because once we get the okay, we'll have to move fast.
Well, sounds interesting.
Liable to be a lot more than that, Mike.
Well, spying has always held a fascination for me.
What gave you that idea?
Well, the main advantage of a rebreather is the military one. No telltale bubbles, isn't that right?
You're fishing for information, chum. Save your breath.
Hey, wasn't around here someplace that Johnny Bailey had that accident? Was he testing one of those rebreathers of yours?
Wasn't ready then. If it had been, he probably wouldn't have been murdered.
Murdered?
Sometimes I talk too much.
That was all I could get out of Pete. For the next 2 days, I watched him put together a second rebreather. He wasn't satisfied with the way the other one was working. One of the big problems was to set up a trouble-free absorbent to eliminate the carbon dioxide that the lungs manufacture. The following morning, we put out to sea. Pete gave me the course. He obviously was heading for a particular spot, but I still hadn't been told anything, and I was getting a little annoyed with all this secrecy. Come on now, Pete, break down. What's with all this cloak and dagger stuff?
You'll know everything by tonight. Okay, Mike, this is the spot.
Now, why this particular spot?
Well, there's a good reason.
But you're not about to tell me.
Not till tonight. Now, how about trying out the rebreather? We'll have to get used to it sooner or later. I'll stay topside.
I was all set to dislike Pete's contraption, but I was agreeably surprised. The nitrogen in the air was recirculated. Oxygen was fed in automatically to replace what our bodies used. The carbon dioxide from our breath was absorbed by a special chemical. That's why the unit didn't leave a trail of bubbles. The dials on the front showed the oxygen supply and the CO2, or carbon dioxide level. The CO2 indicator was the most important to watch. If that level got too high for too long, I might never come up. I tested the unit in all positions. Everything seemed to check out right. I'd only been down a few minutes when I got Pete's signal to come up. I hadn't even started to give the rebreather a fair workout yet. It's a rush. I thought you wanted me to test this thing.
Oh, yeah, Mike, get out of there.
Why?
I don't want them to see it on you.
Who are they?
They'll think you just took this one off. Let me do the talking.
As the boat pulled alongside, I noticed that it was flying the American flag. I had a feeling that it didn't really belong there. May I come aboard?
Sure. Harry Porter, this is my friend Bill Seeley. Down from New York on vacation. Understand this is a great spot for skin diving.
Are you professional divers?
Far from it, Mr. Just businessman. What can we do for you?
You can move off into other waters.
How's that?
You're in private waters.
I thought this was open sea.
That haze in the distance. That's the shoreline of Monokee. I own it and you're within the 3-mile limit.
I can't see what harm we're doing.
The point is, you're in violation of maritime law. I have a private agreement with the local government. These waters are reserved for the use of my friends. I trust you'll accept my warning rather than the necessity of force.
Doesn't make any difference to us. I suppose it's just as good diving outside your 3-mile limit. Sorry we caused you the trouble.
Well, goodbye, gentlemen. Happy diving.
Look at the hook.
Someone you were expecting?
I was hoping he wouldn't come. I was sort of making a test run.
To find out if he was on duty, huh?
Yeah.
You want to tell me about our friend? Is that what we're after?
Yes. His name's Frederick Jorgensen, a multi-millionaire. He's no friend. Not from the USA. The State Department's been worried about him for a good long time now.
You think he bought that story of yours about us being down here on a vacation?
No, it's going to make it a lot rougher. They'll be watching for us.
Where? The Monarchy?
If we can make it. Johnny barely did.
Oh, that's what happened to Johnny, huh?
That's what happened to him.
What's so important on that island?
Not on it. Underwater in a narrow channel leading to it. We think Jorgensen's secretly building an underwater submarine fuel dock.
When we returned to Pete's place on shore, someone was waiting for us. Pete introduced him as Robert Stone, but I had the feeling that a title belonged in front of that name, like colonel or commander, or maybe a secret agent.
Now, what we're specifically interested in are photos of the fuel dock and its exact location. Undoubtedly, Jorgensen will take every precaution to keep you away.
We'll need another week. The rebreathers need a lot more testing.
Well, what I'm trying to say is we haven't any time left. The rest of the equipment to complete the job will be delivered to Jorgensen in the next few days, and they'll be working down there. D-Day has got to be tomorrow.
Tomorrow?
Why are we working through official channels on this deal?
We tried. No success. Maybe the local government is tied in with Jorgensen. Maybe they're just sleepy. I don't know. I do know we can't wait.
Our government is behind all this, isn't it? I mean, what we're doing?
Yes, unofficially.
I thought so.
Ostensibly, however, we're just private citizens, nothing else. If we're caught, we're on our own.
It's asking an awful lot of you, Mike. At least I've had some experience with the rebreather.
I had a good 2-minute workout with it today. How well guarded is this thing anyway, you know?
It's under 24-hour surveillance from the shore. Well, what do you say, Pete? Ready to go tomorrow?
Big problem is, will the rebreather work for the length of time required?
Well, I figure I can get you as close to Mono Key as you were today. How does that work for your airtime?
Well, figuring not more than 5 minutes in the channel. Just about on the nose. That is, there's no trouble with the rebreathers.
I see.
The success of our mission was going to depend on accurate timing. We studied our plans carefully because any mistake would probably be our last. We slept fitfully, and by dawn, we were heading for Mono Key.
Everything's to be seen. How much further?
There's a boat over there, heading this way.
Is it Jorgensen?
Yeah, looks like he's patrolling his waters.
Looks like we're out of luck.
Better make our dive before it's too late.
That's double the distance we figured on.
We just have to take it easy. We conserve our oxygen supply.
That'll mean surfacing a lot sooner than we'd planned.
Listen, you surface when you have to. As soon as I get your breaker signal, I'll come in for you.
We'll be well within the 3-mile limit.
Yeah.
Look, let me worry about that. You've got enough to take care of.
Come on.
Do you make out the the two divers?
No, not now, sir.
I wonder if they took a chance on diving.
For the island? Not from this distance. It's impossible, sir. They'd never make it underwater.
Nevertheless, heading slowly toward Mono Key. If they're below, we'll see their bubbles.
Like the other American, huh?
Our objective, the channel of Mono Key, was due west. We checked our compasses and headed in that direction with easy movements, saving our strength for what we knew would be the harder job of getting back.
When we reach the channel, we shall anchor and wait for them.
That is if they're coming this way, sir?
Correct. So far, no bubbles, therefore no diver. But we shall take no chances.
So far, the rebreathers were working perfectly. Occasionally, a few bubbles escaped from our face masks, but not enough to give us away. I began to think the assignment might be a lot easier than we had anticipated. Now we were in the channel, and there ahead of us, we saw our objective. As Stone had said, it was still incomplete, but there was enough of it to send a grim shudder through me. We moved in for a closer look. I started taking pictures of it. We only had a few minutes to complete our job. Our schedule called for us to be finished in exactly 1 more minute.
They should have reached the channel by now. That is, if they're down there.
It's almost time for our divers to make their regular check. Shall I send them down now, sir?
No reason, really. We'll know by their bubbles if and when they get here.
I finished with 15 seconds to spare. I had the crucial photographs. The worst was over. Or so I thought. To complete our evidence, I was making notes on the slate, jotting down the bearings of the construction work. Pete was checking it against his compass. Just then, a connecting hose broke loose on Pete's rebreather. The bubbles were heading for the surface, and there was nothing that we could do about it. I had stopped the leak, but Pete's rebreather was useless. Now, forced to share the one working rebreather, we only had enough oxygen left for a few minutes. And when we exchanged the mouthpiece, a few more telltale bubbles were released. Jorgensen was using explosives. The explosions were far from us, but we felt the shock waves. We had to put as much distance between us and Jorgensen as possible, and there was no time to lose.
What is it?
They were bubbles.
Where? I don't see anything.
There were just a few. They're gone now.
They'd have to leave a continuing trail. We'll keep watch. Send the divers down.
Any more sign of them, sir?
No. But we better not take any chances. Check the entire channel. Jorgensen's divers. If they spotted us,
we were as good as dead. I noticed a ledge we could hide under. If we could stay concealed and buddy breathe without showing any bubbles, they might miss us. Now we had to get out of there before they turned back. Our oxygen supply was dwindling too fast. We seemed to have a sudden craving for air. I looked at the carbon dioxide gauge. The level was rising into the danger zone. The absorbent material was not working well enough. We had no choice now. We had to surface, no matter what. We saw Stone cruising in the distance. We had blinkers to signal with. Jorgensen's yacht was anchored, but we were within rifle range of it. We could only hope that Stone would spot them first and reach us in time.
Mr. Jorgensen, over there beyond the channel.
It's the same two divers. They're signaling for help. See if you can pick them off.
They're being picked up, sir.
Hurry up.
They're getting out of range. Shall we go after them?
No reason, really. I would judge they were heading for the channel when they ran out of air. As long as they didn't make it, we're safe.
They're headed back.
That means only one thing. They think we didn't make it to their fuel dock.
Well, they'd be surprised.
Thanks to this rebreather of yours.
Thanks to this camera of yours, Mike.
Hello there. I'm Lloyd Bridges. Skin diving is fun and adventure for young and old, but it can be dangerous. So know the sport well and don't take any chances. Be with you next week for another exciting sea hunt.